Hi, my name is Chris Hankin. I'm an American and I'm a master's student at the Hopkins Nanjing Center. And my great-grandfather is Charles Riggs, or as he's known in China, Lin Cha Li. When I told my family that I was going to talk to Chinese media about this story, they were all really excited and curious. I think that it's something that our family is quite proud of. I moved to China in 2018. I taught at a university called Xibei Gongye Daxue. And if there are any students from Xibei Gongye Daxue watching, hello. And at that point, I also started to learn more about the history of the Nanjing Datusha and also the role that my great-grandfather played in that history. And so my parents came from America, and together we came here to Nanjing and we visited the museum. And so we were walking around looking for information about him, and we found the photo, and it was quite surprising to find it. And also after that, I posted the photo on my social media here in China, on WeChat. And a lot of my students at Xibei Gongye Daxue, Northwestern Polytechnic University, responded and told me that they were really moved by this history, and that made a deep impression on me. So in this case, we visited the museum. I also got to go and see the photo of my great-grandfather, and now that I have learned more about the history, when I see that picture, it means more to me. Here I have Minnie Vautrin's diary. I have a Chinese copy, then I also have an English copy, and I've been reading through it to understand more about her story. It's been really interesting to look through and see times where Minnie Vautrin and my great-grandfather Charles Riggs interacted, and I found that on a number of occasions Minnie Vautrin's diary has stories about Charles Riggs, and so for me it's been really interesting to learn more of that history. Today I had the opportunity to speak with a woman who Minnie Vautrin was her great aunt. My name is Chris, and you're Minnie Vautrin's...
I'm her great-great niece.
My great-grandfather was Charles Riggs, so I think that they worked together in Nanjing.
Yeah.
The history is still alive for people here. She made a very, very deep impression on people here. I mean, last Friday when I was getting to meet some scholars and historians that still are studying this period, and like it was very moving, you know, like people just kind of like recounting the impact she had. People were in tears. It was really moving to get to hear her story and to hear about how her family has understood this history, because in some ways it was similar to my family where they started talking about it more recently. In the morning we went to Nanjing Normal University and we spoke with a scholar there, a historian.
你的这个外曾祖父啊，李格社是当时在南京大屠杀期间，是留在南京的，在城里面的22个外国人之一。当时他是京大的教授，主动留下来保护中国的难民。他是南京安全局估值委员会的主要成员。在大屠杀期间呢，他做了大量的工作。
Minnie Vautrin was working with the community of young Chinese women as a teacher. When the Japanese invaded, her goal was to try to protect as many women as possible. It was quite a powerful contrast to be in such a beautiful place, but to be hearing such tragic and moving stories. And I think that that was part of what made the experience so impactful. It was a group of people who were incredibly motivated to do good in the world. So they devoted their lives to helping people, which is something really admirable. The last stop we made was we went to the house of Xu Chuanying, his granddaughter and great-granddaughter. Xu Chuanying and my great-grandfather Charles Riggs actually worked together on the Nanjing Civilian Safety Committee. His granddaughter gave me this, which is something that she made, and for her it signified luck. And so now I keep it in my room, and I think it's a really, really sweet gift. My great aunt is going to be 94 this year. She lives in America, and she was born in Nanjing and lived the first few years of her life in Nanjing. So recently I've been communicating with her, and she has been sending me more resources to learn about the history from our family's side. And I think that it's been really exciting for her to see that people in China still really value this history and still really want to know more about this history, because for her it's quite personal. Wait, I'm sorry, what, really quickly, I think two of my classmates are here. It's always interesting to tell people, especially Chinese classmates, about my great-grandfather and about the history, because typically they respond really positively. When I tell American friends about this, they're often very, very surprised. And so oftentimes when I tell them about my personal family history, it's also an opportunity to tell them a little bit more about this other part of World War II history that they might not be quite so familiar with. I think that whenever I get to tell people about the history and about the role that my great-grandfather played, I always feel a little bit proud, because I feel as though it's a tradition and a legacy that I want to try to follow in, this tradition of helping others regardless of national background. I'd really want to tell my great-grandfathers to describe how much China has changed since he was here. Coming to China now in 2023, at least in cities like Nanjing, you see a very, very developed and economically powerful country. And it's very, very different from the country that he would have seen when he was here.